Morning.
I hope you had a good time yesterday after we finished, and I hope you enjoyed the games. Even though I guess today is a little bit more difficult for some of you because of the results of yesterday, but we are fully with you. You know, that's the life of our sports, but tomorrow is another day always. So thank you again for being back with us. And what I would like to do before I leave the floor to Jeff to talk about strategic planning is to actually give you a little bit of 360 view or review of what we have seen over the past few days, but also during the first workshop we have conducted a couple of months ago. And I have listed here all the big topics that we covered. So, you know, some of you that were with us since day one, you have been through all of this. For those who joined us only for this workshop, you've missed some of the parts. So let me list them for you to have a quick recap. We have seen many things about brand management and also how to engage with the fans from a digital point of view, not only during the game day, but also during the entire year, during the several months of the season and also off season. We spoke about the game day operations, how to improve them. So, you know, that was also a full session on the first workshop. We spoke about the game day fan engagement, so precisely what you should do during the game day in terms of fan engagement. So that was a little bit more specific than the digital one. And then we spoke about sponsorship. You remember the audit inventory, the sponsors architecture. You remember all of that. So we spoke about that, how you build your sponsorship strategy and so on. We spoke also about public sector investment. We briefly had a note yesterday about when we were speaking about grassroots, right? We said this is an income generation opportunity, especially with the public sector that sometimes give you some money to actually run some grassroots programs. But more generally speaking, we had a full session dedicated to that during the first workshop. On day one, we spoke about governance. So that was the whole presentation done by Pedro, and then also Pedro continued on financial management yesterday. Again, we spoke yesterday about the player pathway. And just I would like to drop you a note. Yesterday I was referring to a so-called migration report. You will find it on the tables, right? So I distributed a few hard copies. I didn't have 30 of them with me, but I distributed just a few. And just to let you know, the link to this report will be also sent to you together with the presentations after the workshop. So don't worry if you don't have a hard copy with you now, or if you want your colleague to actually take it, you will have the opportunity to get it digitally. So we spoke about the player pathway, and I will not redo the presentation from yesterday, but we had like a lot of topics in that. And also we spoke about club licensing. So I put it a little bit separated, as you can see here, because club licensing could be about everything, you know. It could be about, putting some criteria in all those elements. How many social media channels you have, how many followers, how many, players you have in your club, how financially you're performing, and so on and so forth. So I put it a little bit separately because to me this is more a transversal topic, but still it was something that was seen over the past few days. So the reason why I'm recapping that is because now we are going to move to strategic planning. And Jeff is going to drive you through all the steps of strategic planning. He was going to explain you everything about that because we always referred to the needs for your clubs and also for the league to have a strategic plan, to have a long-term plan. You remember yesterday, don't be blinded and have a long-term plan. That was one of the messages we had. So Jeff is going to drive you through all those steps. And obviously, we expect your league and all your clubs to come up with a strategic plan at the end of the day. So be very careful, and not careful, but focused on what Jeff is going to teach you today, because you will have to replicate that on your own and then have this link with the federation to continue the development. And obviously, it's not only about knowing how to do a strategic plan, but it's about integrating all what you have acquired in terms of knowledge over the past sessions and trying to put this in your plan in the structure that Jeff is going to provide you with. So that's it for me. Now I will pass the floor to Jeff and have a good session. And Jeff, for sure, will bring a lot of energy on this Sunday morning. Thank you.
Great job. Let's give Florian a round of applause. Yep, well done. Thank you, Florian. Good morning. That was rubbish. Good morning. Good morning. Much better, much louder on this side. Let's see if you can be louder on this side. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
That still is rubbish. Good morning. Let's go. Come on.
Good morning.
Yeah, there we go. Let's go to this side over here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, this side's here's winning. They're winning. I'm sorry. I apologize. Let's go to the middle. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, not bad. This is actually more professional in here. Good morning. In here we have the professional guys. Good morning. Over here we have the guys. Good morning. And over here we've got the loud ones. Hey! It is good to see you all. Today we're going to talk about strategic. Give a round of applause for an interpretation. There she is. Look, she's now. Oh, she just gave me a what? So what I would like to do is we'll go through some things. And then let's see where that takes us. If I said to you, strategy, what comes into your mind? Oh, I like that. Long-term plan. Very good, yeah. If I said strategy, what comes into your mind? What pops into your mind?
No idea.
No idea, that's okay.
I'm so sorry.
But no. Because by the end of this session, you will say, got it. So that's okay. If I said strategy, what comes into your mind?
I'm here to learn from you.
Oh, I'm going to learn from you as well. It's okay us coming in, but we learn together. But thank you for that. So if I said strategy, what would you say?
Maybe specific methods,
Uh-huh.
direction.
Oh, two great words. Long-term, direction. So when I was younger, a long time ago, if I was going from Belfast to Dublin, I got out a map. And the map, when I looked at the map, I was not saying Belfast, Dublin. I was not saying I do this to get to Dublin, because I've only got some fuel in my car that I do not want to waste. So when I went from Belfast to Dublin, what is the quickest and most efficient way to get from A to B, Belfast to Dublin, with as least petrol as possible? And a strategy is that. It's a roadmap. If I am here and you want to go to here, if you do not have a strategy, you'll be like this. I've wasted so much time. I've wasted so much energy. Hi. I've wasted hello. 500 plus that. And I've wasted so much time, so much energy to get to the ultimate place that I've been to. When I have a strategic plan, this is what should happen. There'll be a little bit of this, there'll be a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, but I get here quicker with less time. Why do it? Why would you do a strategic plan? Why do you think? Why would you do a strategy? What would you think? Anyway, yep.
mendoj që njerëz të cilët s'është më rëndësi në çfarë sektori, në sport apo në biznes apo diçka, çdo herë duhet me ndërtu një plan strategjik, do thotë sipas meje për me arrit një qëllim ose për me ato që thatë edhe ju, do thotë me arrit sa më lehtë ose sa më shpejt ose sa më pak financa, duhet mas parit të mendohet, të analizohet, do të gjithë këto i përfshin, do të strategjinë që ti e ndërton për me arrit një objektiv të caktuar, ku don me shku ose me një fjalë me arrit ato që ti dëshiron sa më lehtë dhe sa më mirë. Mendoj që kjo duhet sparit bëhet një planifikimi strategjik, çfarë drejtimi, çfarë rrugë ti ndjek.
Round of applause. Come on, round of applause. Very good. Excellent. I totally agree. And here's what people say. I want a strategy, I want a strategy, I want a strategy. You get a strategy and then you put it into a drawer. The worst, so this is my 91st country. So I've been to 91 countries doing this sort of thing. And the number one issue with strategy is implementing it. Everybody loves to have a lovely document, but implementation is always the worst bit. But we're going to talk through all of these areas on strategic planning. So for me, some of the benefits, it is without doubt a clear roadmap. It allows you to go to A to B as quick as possible with the least resources and energy. It means you're better organized. You're better organized as an organization. It's better on decision making. Because what happens, people say, oh, I'm a club, do this, 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 do this. We can't do it all. What are the key things that we must get right? Focus on them and make sure they're well implemented based on your resources at hand. It identifies the risks. Ooh. Risks. What like? What happens if you lose your VP, your general manager? What do you do? And it improves internal communications. It says everybody is on the same page. A strategy tells that we're all heading in the right direction. You ever seen a rowing boat? You row, you row, you row. You want everybody rowing in the same direction. You do not want somebody trying to go this way and somebody going the other way. Your organization will never get there. So it brings you that way forward. So here's the process that we go through. And some of these bits we're going to stop, and you will have exercises during this morning. I'll let you know in advance, where are we now? So what is that? Research. So at the minute, this is something that we're probably, again, not great at. But if you're a club, you need to know, where am I at the minute? So have you researched with your fans? What do you think of us? Have you researched with your sponsors? Have you got data in terms of your ticket sales? Are they up, are they down? So you're analysing not only data, but you're also analysing focus groups, questionnaires, to get an understanding of what people think of you as an organisation. Research. Step one. Everybody say research. Research. So important is research. Number two, where are we going? Now, if you remember yesterday, Pedro talked about a long-term strategy and an operating plan. In a strategy, you have a vision, mission, values, And these are all important. But for today, and to keep us really focused, we're taking those out. Because to sort out a vision, a mission, this can be just more complicated. So what we want you to do is we want you to focus on goals and objectives. Goals are priority areas. Objectives are smart targets that you're going to achieve under each broad area. We will discuss this terminology later. This tells where we are going. Then, how do I get there? How do I get there is action plans and budgets. Remember, we've touched on budgets, your organizational chart as well. But action plans are tasks. Everybody say tasks. Tasks under each objective. And then the last is, are we getting there? And this is all about monitoring your objectives. So, Elvira? Elvira's in the house. So we did the strategic plan with Elvira. It started with one-to-ones, focus groups online, analysing data. Then we identified, well, in this case we did our goals and our objectives and our action plans. And the last time we were here, Radmila and I sat down with Elvira and we said, tell me where you are at on each objective. We were monitoring the implementation. Elvira, tell me the process of that. How did you find that process? Because it's a long process. How did you find that, and how beneficial is the strategic plan for your federation?
Në fakt, plani strategjik, për herë parë kur kom dëgju për planin strategjik, një organizate ka qenë në kuadër të programit Time Out, ka qenë pikërisht prej Gjefit në Ljubljana, edhe prej atij momenti, kjo ka ndodhur vitin 2018, jam kthy në Federatë, kom thonë na kena nevojë shumë për një plan strategjik, edhe bashkë me kryetarin kemi vendosur në 2019 me fillu me punu me planin strategjik. Pastaj ka ndodhur pandemia, edhe gjatë pandemisë e kemi pa që është shumë e rëndësishme me fillu, edhe kemi kontaktu FIBA-n, edhe përmes FIBA-s, edhe përmes konsulentëve të FIBA-s kemi fillu me punu në plan strategjik, i cili është përgatit në bashkëpunim me FIBA-n për vitin 2021 dhe 2025. Po para se me fillu me punu planin, a kemi di që është shumë i rëndësishëm një plan strategjik, po kur kemi fillu me punu plan strategjik edhe kur kemi fillu me implementu planin strategjik, atëre kemi kuptu që është edhe shumë ma shumë i rëndësishëm. Pa plan strategjik kemi punu vetëm baza ditore, baza javore, ndërsa tani me plan strategjik çdo 3 muaj i shikojmë objektivat, planet action plan, planet action plans edhe qëllimet që duhet na mi realizu, edhe 3 muaj, 6 muaj, 9 muaj, 12 muaj e shohëm veten ku jena, i kena arrit këto qëllime, po normalisht që këto nuk janë vetë qëllime që do të mi arrit Federata, po do të mi arrit edhe klubet. Edhe një prej qëllimeve të Federatës është edhe fuqizimi edhe zhvillimi i klubeve tona, pra janë 5 qëllime. Njëna prej tyre edhe më e rëndësishme është zhvillimi i klubeve, ku nëse dojmë arrit për me realizu krejt plani strategjik që kemi bo 2021-2025, atër këta nuk mujnë me bo vetë, pa e bo me qëta grupet të interesit, duke përshi edhe klubet që janë pala më rëndësishme e jona. Për neve, për mu, sidomos që jam si udhëheqëse e planit strategjik të Federatës, është shumë ma letë kur e kom planin strategjik edhe çdo 3 muaj, tash pas monitorimit FIBA-s, ta na kanë lënë monitorimin me bo vetë Federata. Së pari evaluimin e bëjmë me drejtorat që punojnë Federatën e Basketbollit, dhe pas drejtorave në shkoj raportojnë në komisionin për mbikëqyrjen e strategjisë që udhëheqet prej kryetarit edhe 2 anëtarëve të bordit Federatës, edhe ata marrin në një farë mënyrë pyetje mu pse nuk realizu kjo, çka kemi bo, ku kemi, që normalisht që me shku bashkarisht me realizu këto. Kështu që pa plan strategjik, një organizat si Federata e Basketbollit Kosovës asnjëherë nuk kish mujt me mri këtu ku jemi momentalisht edhe ku dojmë arrit në vitin 2025. Mu ka lecu shumë puna në baza ditore, në baza javore, në baza mujore, po besoj edhe kryetarit edhe kryetë Federatës se kemi një plan ku gjithmonë referohemi atij plani, a kemi realizu, kur kemi me realizu, pse nuk e kemi realizu, ku kemi gabu, ku të me bo ma mirë, kështu që për neve ka qenë shumë i mirësore. Kjo normalisht që falë FIBA-s, programit time out që kom ndjek edhe mundësi që mu ka dhonë me dëgju Gjefin edhe profesorat e tjerë që ka qenë aty dhe që na kanë hapë sy që organizatat si Federata duhet me pas gjithçysh një plan strategjik nëse dëshirojmë me arrit prej një pike me një pikë tjetër.
So this gives you an example of the importance of strategic planning. This morning's session would not have happened if it wasn't for the strategic plan. So this is living proof of the strategy being implemented. Correct, Florian? We would not have been here if it was not in the strategy.
Absolutely.
So this is living proof that the strategy is being implemented because this is in the objectives. That is why we are here. And if you go through, many people will say, oh, basketball's growing here. All of these programs aren't just, hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do this. No. All of these programs are defined in the strategy. That's why we're doing them. Here's a second point. As I mentioned, I've been to 91 countries as a sports consultant. This federation, I would say, is almost one of the best in class. How they, yeah. And I mean that, look at my eyes. I mean when I say that. I mean when I say that, and you should be very proud of your clubs, your sport, and your federation. I mean what I say. Because how they have created, because it was them, it wasn't us, it was them. How they created the plan, but how they are implementing it and monitoring it is excellent. And for their resources as well, really good. Now it's over to you. Now you're going to create your plan. And where we really want to get to, this is the Federation's plan, improving clubs. We want you to fit in nicely with them. And we're going to do that today. So we move on. So, what does research start with? Well, research starts with one-to-one meetings. Who would you meet with? Who would you meet with? Who would you meet with to talk about what do you think of us? Who would you meet with? What stakeholders?
Okay, so if I have a vision or a goal,
Yep.
I would meet the person that would get me to the goal faster.
So who would give you some feedback on that? Think of who are the stakeholders around the basketball family, your club?
Okay, so the federation?
Yeah, I would go to the federation. I would ask them.
Yes.
Yeah. Who else? Who else would we talk to? I've mentioned them before. Who else would you talk to? Marcel, I'm going to go to you. Look, it's like bingo. All eyes down. Don't look at me. So if I said to you, who would you go and do some research with about what do you think about us? Where are we now? Stage one. Who would that be? So we've talked about the federation. Who else?
I think it's important to all the people who are part of the organization.
Yep. Like
Sport director, president.
Sport director. I would agree. Meet him or her.
Coaches.
Coaches. Meet them.
And players. For
Players.
Sure.
Meet the players.
And all the sponsors and
Sponsors.
all the partners that are part of the organization.
So, so all of a sudden, we have put down 2 or 3 areas. Sponsors. We've also put down the president, the general manager, the coaches, the players, the federation,
Funds.
fans. Can you imagine what they will tell you as a totality? You would be surprised what fans tell you, but what they think of you as a club, where the club should go, what the club should do to improve, or what the club does well. What the club does well. You need to know that. But also, what would they like? Is the quality of food and beverage not great? Is there no food and beverage at your games? Does that need to be looked at? So all of this research, and this is through one-to-ones, meeting one-on-one. Or meeting as a focus group, a group of people with me, asking questions. It could be online surveys. What do you think the club does well? Where should we improve? Where do you like the club to go to? What does the club mean to you? Then you look at desk research. So the desk research would be things such as, where is sport moving to? So esports, NBA 2K, do you need to be in that space? Virtual reality, live streaming. So last night the game was on 2 TV stations. Do you create your own live stream as a league? Because you're looking to engage with the younger audience. And data. What is your fan membership? What is your financial data? So all of this creates a picture. And you are putting together, so here's Jeff. You're creating a picture of what Jeff looks like. If you don't do all of this data, you'll only know half of what Jeff is. So you create the picture, where you're at present. And you will be surprised when you do this research, when you come up with some nuggets of information to say, there's a great idea. Okay? Any questions with the research? That's your baseline, your foundation of the house, your starting point. Okay? So then we go, okay, we start to look at goals and objectives. So our situation analysis. Oh, we just need to put it on to, we'll just put this back here. So, we've got a video
so you can later define the
situation
best way
analysis.
to get there. It is the first step to undertake in developing a strategic plan. The situation analysis creates your baseline, which you will measure progress against in the future. It is composed by a succession of methods aiming to provide you with constructive knowledge about your stakeholders, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, your resources, your competitors, but also your political, economical, social, and technological environment, and your activity calendar. Once the situation analysis completed effectively, you will be ready for the next step of the strategy and planning process. Check out the handbook for more information and see you in our next video.
So, as part of research, so you've done your one-to-ones and focus group, you've done your desk research, your online surveys, and your data analysis. The last bit of your research is to look at a situation analysis. What are they? 3 areas. Stakeholders, who are they? Competitors, who are they? And SWOT that we know. We are going to do a SWOT analysis today for your club. So these are the analysis that you do internally. Who is it we're talking to? Stakeholders. Who's our competitors? And what's our SWOT? These situation analysis goes alongside the research. One-to-ones, surveys, data. And all of this helps you to paint your picture. So let's go into some of these areas.
What is a stakeholder analysis? The purpose of the stakeholder analysis is to help you profile your stakeholders concisely, so you can better understand who can help you develop and execute your plan, but also figure out how you can help them achieve your objectives. This way, you will build stronger relationships and eventually better leverage their resources and know-how. To help you conduct an efficient stakeholder analysis, the following worksheet has been created as a guide. First, you will need to list all your primary stakeholders which directly deliver basketball activities, and then your supplementary stakeholders, who helps your primary stakeholders to deliver them. The primary stakeholders may include internally NF board members, the Secretary General, the heads of departments, and more generally the staff and personnel. Externally, the primary stakeholders may include leagues, clubs and teams, regional associations, players, coaches, officials and volunteers, or the General Assembly. The supplementary stakeholders, who are also important to consider, may include the government, the local authorities, the media and broadcasters, the sponsors, the venue owners, the fans, or schools and universities. Once your stakeholders are identified, you will need to describe the nature of communication with each of them and think how to improve the quality and the frequency of the communication and ultimately interaction, which should lead to a stronger relationship. Then, you will need to assess the quality of your relationship with the stakeholder so you can consider actions to either improve it or keep it at the highest level. The next step is the assessment of the stakeholder's significance to your federation. This assessment, while subjective, enables better profiling and decision-making as it decides how much you should focus on them. Assessing the stakeholder's significance will require considering your dependence on the stakeholder, their influence over your federation, and their reliance on your federation. Finally, you will need to identify 3 actions that can be done to improve the relationship over the next 12 months. Given the sensitive nature of the information contained in your stakeholder analysis, it should not be included in any publication or shared outside of your federation. You are now ready to perform your stakeholder analysis. Check out our handbook for more information and see you in our next video.
So, a stakeholder analysis outlines who are your stakeholders, your fans, your sponsors, etc., etc. And we have created this template that basically outlines who the stakeholder is, how do we communicate to them, is it email meetings, what's the relationship like, and that's a gut feeling, is it excellent or is it very poor? Then how important is that stakeholder to us? Are they vital? Are they not? And then what 3 actions can you do to improve? So let's take one at the bottom. Stakeholder could be a sponsor. Everyone say sponsor. Sponsor. Yeah. So maybe how do you communicate? Meetings and workshops. Written communication, telephone. What's the relationship like? Let's say it's poor. How important are they? Let's say it is important. Now, if somebody sees that the relationship is poor, yet they're important to you, you need to improve that relationship. Yeah? So what 3 actions would you do? Maybe set up a monthly account management. Maybe produce an annual report for the sponsor. Maybe promote their brand on your social media. So the idea is you do some of these actions, this will go from poor to good or maybe even better. So you do this within your club, it might be your board, And the board would say, okay, let's list our stakeholders, and you do it in a meeting. Let's identify how do we communicate with them. Let's identify what the relationship is like. Let's identify how important, and what 3 things can we do to improve it. So really, really simple. But what we're doing here is saying, where is it really poor, and where are they important or vital? Because you will need to do something to improve it. So, let me pick someone. Let me pick here. Okay. So let's take one. Let's take sponsors. So, in your club, sponsors?
Yes.
How do you communicate to sponsors in general?
In general, email.
Email?
Telephone.
Telephone?
Meetings.
Meetings.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what is the relationship like? Just a gut feeling.
Well, we have a mix of both.
Mix of both.
Yeah.
So would you say
Excellent and poor.
excellent and poor?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good that you've got some excellent, some
Yeah.
poor.
Yeah.
So let's go with the ones that's poor.
Okay.
Just because that's easy.
Sure.
Okay. How important are sponsors to your club? Are they not important, important, or are they vital?
Vital.
Vital.
Yes.
So if you have let's say a poor relationship, let's say they are vital to some of the sponsors, what 3 things do you think you should do to improve the relationship with those that are poor? What would you do?
As you mentioned, maybe provide annual report.
Yep.
Of of their sponsorship.
The
and,
coverage. all
Yeah,
that.
coverage, and
Yep.
then just improve the relationship. Maybe offer them, I don't know, VIP seats.
Yep.
Get their family involved into the games and
Simple things, maybe
Yeah.
go and watch the team train. It costs you nothing,
something like that. Yeah.
but maybe do it for their top customers.
Yeah.
Something that costs you nothing but can improve the relationship. And in some cases, if you've got a poor relationship with a sponsor, it's all about relationships. Excellent. Let's give a round of applause. Brilliant. Thank you. Okay. Before we go to the next, let's all stand up. Let's all stand up. Let's just change the place. Okay. So I don't know about you, but I feel stiff. So we're going to start here. Let's just do that there. Go on. Let's go. Oh, feel that. Oh yeah. Come on. Oh, does anybody right up the shoulder? Right up. Right. Oh yes. Does anybody feeling that? Oh, let's go to our arm. Oh yes. Does anybody feel that? Right up. Right up. Right up. Oh. Okay. Let's go. Oh, yes. Yeah, okay. Let's go down. Oh. Is anybody down low? Anybody? Let's get up. Go up the legs, up, right up. Oh, let's go down again. Oh, the feel them aches and pains. Back up again. Right to the bums. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, that's good. Okay, you may be seated. Okay, so outside of stakeholders, then the next one is your competitors. Who would be a competitor to your club? Like somebody who takes your fans away. Hold on a minute. I'll pay you via the
600 maybe.
cheap at half the price. So who would be a competitor to your basketball club? Who takes away fans and
Për mendimin tan janë klubet kundërshtare faktikisht.
Yep.
Mastej mundën me qenë edhe shikues, fans.
Yep. What other sports are you competing with?
Mundën me handball, për shembull, me
Handball.
futboll, për me arrit
Yep.
nivelin më të lartë se futbolli është për shembull një sport që është numër 1 në kështu që gara për me arrit qëllimin me arrit në nivelin e tyne është kapetitor.
And is there anything that handball does quite good?
Handballit për në Kosovë jo, handballi është nivel pak më i ulët, mirë po futbolli ka shumë organizime më të mëdha, ka tyra më të mëdha, ka pagesa më të mëdha, kështu që edhe na duhet me shku në nivelin e tyne me të gjitha organizimet që ata i kanë, garat që i kanë dhe sukseset që i kanë.
This is an important, steal the ideas. I like that. Steal the ideas. So competitors can be other sports like handball, football, somebody that's taking your fans and your money to somewhere else, like sponsorship. Florian and I have been doing a strategy in Trinidad. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. In Trinidad, they're all like, yeah, man. They're all nice and laid back. Do you know what their number 1 competitor was? Bingo. Bingo. Why? Because the people who would have went to basketball were going to bingo nights and spending the money with bingo instead of with them as a sport. So competitors are not always in sport, but most are. So let's look at competitors.
What is a competitor analysis? Well, as a team would scout its opponents on the court, you should also assess your competitors off the court to gain or maintain competitive advantages for basketball. A competitor analysis will help you understand where your competitors are stronger or weaker than you, so you can develop the necessary tactics to make basketball more attractive for the kids and parents, the fans, the sponsors, the government, the broadcasters and media, and so many other stakeholders. Conducting a competitor analysis will require that you identify all your competitors in sport, but also in other fields. And then, profile each of your competitors by identifying the competitive deficiencies and advantages you have. To help you profile each competitor, the following worksheet has been created as a guide to determine whether you are significantly stronger, slightly stronger, the same, slightly weaker, or significantly weaker in each of the 11 fields. You are now ready to perform your competitor analysis. Check out the handbook for more information, and see you in our next video.
So what does this sheet look like? Well, this will take one competitor. But look, we've analysed it against a range of areas. Events and game day attendance. Is your competitor, like handball, getting more fans than you? If they are, why is that happening? Learn from them. It might be your reputation. It might be digital and social. Maybe handball is better on social. Why are they better on social? How can you learn from them? It might be they're better on governance. They have a better board structure. Learn from them. Maybe it's participation. Maybe your academy has 100 players, yet handball is 500. How are they doing that? Maybe it's government relations, sponsorship, broadcast of games. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's facilities, maybe it is media relations. So these are areas that we think are important. And you basically take one person and you say, you just circle, are they significantly stronger? Where they are stronger, learn from them. Where they are weaker, make sure you are stronger always than them in the future. And literally you just highlight which one you think that they are. So this is for one competitor. So if this could be handball, you would say their attendance is much better than us. Their reputation is slightly better. Participation, we've got the same numbers. Facilities, yeah, our facilities are better. You get the idea. Remember, we're still in research. We're still doing research. And then the last is a SWOT. And you're going to do one of these.
What is a SWOT analysis? SWOT simply stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the SWOT analysis is a way to capture and frame up what your current state is. To help you conduct an efficient SWOT analysis, the following worksheet has been created as a guide. The left-hand side of your 2x2 matrix is your internal perspective. It includes your strengths you want to build on and your weaknesses you want to shore up. The right-hand side focuses on your external perspective. It includes your opportunities, which you want to invest or capitalize on, and your threats, which you want to monitor. Tip number 1. Do not confuse your internal and external perspective. Your internal perspective refers to what you can directly impact, such as the number of qualified coaches, the quality of your competition structure, or of your decision-making process. While your external perspective refers to what you cannot directly impact, such as the increasing popularity of 3x3 basketball, the interest from private sector to support basketball, or the emergence of e-sport, for example. The simplest way to perform your SWOT analysis is to hop into a room with a whiteboard and brainstorm with your planning team and fill out your SWOT. To take it to the next level, bringing data into your SWOT analysis is an excellent way to have more database view of what's going on. There are tons of existing data that will bring both internal and external perspectives to the organization that we advise you to use. Here are some recommendations to capture internal data. Get perspective from board members through one-on-one interviews, but also from the staff and personnel to help understand what's working and what's not working from an operational point of view. Get perspective from members to understand what they are saying about what you are doing well or not. Finally, pull in some of your key performance indicators over the past 2 to 5 years, whatever makes the most sense. If you are a little pressed for time, make sure you pull in your staff and personnel's perspective and your members' perspective. For the external data, you may want to think about them as concentric circles, starting from outside. 1. The mega trends. They are the really big elements that are impacting most of organizations across your country, or potentially across the globe, such as aging baby boomers, or growth of millennials, for instance. 2. Your industry. The sport industry has tons of information and trends that impact organizations. So, we advise you to check out available reports on potential opportunities, threats, and trends in basketball, or more generally within the sport movement. 3. Your competitors. Understand what your top 3 competitors are doing, as this will help you identify key elements that you may want to get inspiration from, or eventually monitor. Once you have all the information, it is advised to synthesize it into 10 to 15 bullet points under each box. Group them and divide them into sub-bullet points, so that you have a pretty well-rounded SWOT. It is recommended to have your SWOT fit on one page, so you are able to see your current state concisely. Here is tip number 2. Do not confuse weaknesses and opportunities. When that happens, your SWOT falls apart. Let's take an example. One theme that might come out of your work is improving communication. Improving communication sounds like an opportunity. But remember, your external perspective is things you can influence, but cannot directly impact or control. And we control communication. It is more like a weakness, but it is not phrased like one. In this case, we would advise to change it to lack of communication, and then you have a statement that sounds like a weakness. You are now ready to perform your SWOT analysis. Check out the handbook for more information and see you in our next video.
So we are going to do now a SWOT, and we'll leave this one up. So your strengths as a club, your weaknesses as a club, your opportunities, and your threats. Okay, so let's take one of these. A strength here might be great facilities, as an example. A weakness might be limited number of qualified coaches, as an example. Opportunities might be that kids love to play the sport of basketball in your area. A threat might be the growth of other sports. So what we want you to do is, in your clubs, create a SWOT analysis, 3 points under a strength, 3 points under a weakness, 3 points under a threat, 3 points under opportunity. So 3 under each for your organisation stroke club. So Uli is giving out the templates now. And what we would like you to do is to complete your SWOT analysis, and we will give you 10 minutes and then we will have a break. We'll do a bit of feedback and then we'll have a break. So we're giving out the handouts. So 1 per club. Work together as a club. Work together as a club. And try to identify 3 strengths, 3 weaknesses, 3 opportunities, and 3 threats. Thank you. 10 minutes. Okay, so it's around that sort of time. Thank you. Quite warm, isn't it?
Yeah, always.
Yeah. But you do feel, you know, the yeah. Everybody okay? Oh, even better. So try and think of one of those. Perfect. Everybody okay? Okay, great. Oh. Yeah. But if they want to actually comfortable on it, I think what we want to try and make sure is good happiness. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be good. So I think once we do this, we go straight on to we want to go. So what we want to do, I'm going to give them governance and youth development, and then if they want to select one more, and the reason why I think some of the criteria of the battery
When we finish this, we'll go for a wee break, but when we come back, we're going to do the goals, and I'm going to get you that might be up to the front, and I'm going to give you I would say, governance in 5 minutes. So, tell me about the club administrators, and what I want you to do is, I will read you in each of these areas, and I want you to say, well, I want everybody at this time, because it's going to be club licensing, I want everybody to do this, because it's on club licensing, I want everybody to do this, because it will be on club licensing. Perfect, because what we're trying to do then is what's in their plan with your club licensing stuff, there's others, but this is a start.
5 minutes? 5 minutes? How are we doing? Good? Oh, good, 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 good. Great.
What is also an interesting, if you look at, say for example, weaknesses, if you look at these 4, take one of them and say, see after today, I'm going to action one of them. So it becomes practical. So for example, let's say lack of qualified coaches. Right, I'm going to talk to the Federation, when's the next course? And okay, finances and all that, maybe it's free, but it means it becomes practical rather than just have so much stuff. We really want to take one action, and that action might be contact the association regarding a coaching course. Good? Good? Looks good to me. Perfect. Good. Now, what would be good is, see for here, what one thing could you take away that you can actually action? So, no financial support, should come with you, so set up meeting with the committee. So you're making it an actual action on the back of the swap. So you still might not get the money, but you've identified it. Then you go and actually meet the municipality, but with all of your data. Here's why you should give us more money. Here's the benefit we're doing to your society. So this could be a very practical.
How are we doing, gents? Okay.
Good. This is sponsors. This here. Okay. So now what we would like to do is maybe you have an action to try and approach a sponsor to sponsor the female. Yeah. Very good. So what we're wanting is to make it like a practical action on the back of this. Go. Very good. Yep. Yep.
Okay, 2 minutes.
How are we getting on? Oh, that's an open. That's good. It's good. My Albanian's not great, but it's good.
I don't know. This is the next stage. I'm just kind of brainstorming from.
Very good. Now, how can you take one of the weaknesses or opportunities and make it an action, something practical that you can actually physically do on the back of your SWOT?
This type of workshops should happen at the international level, and when we need to go to the countries to actually implement something like the club licensing system, because you will never get a perfect lecture.
Would you let me know whenever you're...
What you just said, you will never have that person.
Okay, everyone? Okay, so this bit is important because you're listening to other people. You're restituting. So I'm going to pick on some people. Now, what is important? Many people just complete a SWOT analysis and put it in the drawer. What we want you to do is to come up with one action that you can implement on the back of your SWOT. One practical action that you can implement on the back of your SWOT. That makes your SWOT come alive. So, we'll go here first. Gentlemen, because I know I was talking to you earlier. So, could you give us your just two of your weaknesses? So, it's important to listen so we can share with everyone else.
Yeah, we listed sort of the lack of qualified coaches.
Lack of qualified coaches.
And then we have a lack of in-house facilities.
Lack of in-house facilities. They are the two weaknesses. So, if we take the qualified coaches, what can you do about that?
I think, well, one of the steps that we can take is talk to the Federation as to kind of what type of steps should we take and what kind of pathways exist so that we can, you know, just send people to different coaching courses and get more qualified coaches.
Did everybody get that? A weakness was lack of qualified coaches was just one weakness. But the action is to talk to the Federation. When is the next training? The next training might be next year. It might be this year. But that means your SWOT is alive. You're actually doing something that you have identified as a weakness.
Yeah.
Nice and simple, but practical.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
Like it.
Yeah.
Let's give him a round of applause. Come on, round of applause. Okay, we'll come in here. We'll come here. So, we'll take this one. So give me one weakness.
Well, we have no gym.
No gym?
And we have no financial support from the municipality. The municipality, the 90% of the budget spends on soccer teams.
So, no money from the municipality or limited?
Limited.
And no gym. What is your action on the municipality?
We talk to them, we send emails to them, and we try our best to get, and we work hard on our teams to get results and to show them results and to tell them why should they invest in our team.
Excellent. So here is a weakness. You're not getting money from the local municipality. I can't say that word. Municipality. The local council. And the action, the practical action, is to go and meet them. But do not go and meet them with the arms at the one length. Hello, give me more money. No. Set the meeting up. go with your data and your presentation. Here is the impact I am having on your community. Here is the health benefit. Here is the economic benefit. Even better, the local council will have what we call a program for government. They will have objectives. So you tell them how you can help them achieve their local objectives. That's a different conversation than just saying, give me more money. So you're actually going to the meeting with data. The number of people in your boys and girls at different age groups, the number of times that you meet, the benefit that you're having from a health point of view. So you're building a business case of why they should invest with you. But always link it back to the council's objectives, the municipality's objectives. Excellent. Let's give a round of applause. Someone here, let's go to an opportunity. Could we have one opportunity, please? Please. Thank you.
Mundësit. Nuk e di sa mund me fol për mundësit në kushtet për momentin sidomos tash, po mundësit janë të ndryshme. Ne mund të bashkëpunojmë për shembull me shkolla të ndryshme, që të kemi mundësi që gjeneratat e reja të cilat zakonisht aty gjenden, edhe mi po na nuk e dim, janë disa mundësi për shembull që ne mund me bashkëpunu me shkolla të ndryshme, që aty kemi dietar që mundet me qenë ndoshta jo për momentin aktiv, por mundet me qenë shumë kvalitet. Këto janë mundësitë e klubet të cilët nëse bashkëpunojnë me shkolla, besoj që në tarmën ato munden me pas një gjenerat që në tarmën mes me pas nevojë me marrë lojtar diku jashtë, që me koste shumë më të mëdha. Po në qoftë këto janë mundësi për shembull që ne klubet mundemi me i përdor. Mundësi tjera është në qoftë se ne investojmë si klube në zhvillimin e trenerave, të cilët mundemi në tarmën me pas që punojnë me gjenerata të reja, po mundet me pas edhe në trener të cilën mund me në Superligën e femrave mundemi me pas vendor. Këtu është përparësi komunikimi, do thotë kultura që e ka ngjeshëm me ne, mentaliteti, kështu që ne përshtatemi shumë më mirë në qoftë se ne shkojmë këtë drejtim që mi përdor këto mundësitë që ne kemi si klub. Në qoftë se ne e përdorim mundësinë vetëm me përfitu para dhe me pas një sukses, do thotë, kjo është afat shkurt. Do të mundësi ka të ndryshme që një klub mundet me bë politika dhe veta, kemi mundësi edhe në investimet në infrastrukturë. Në qoftë se ne bashkëpunojmë me një shkollë dhe salla aty është jo në gjendje të rregullt, dhe ne i afrojmë si klub shkollës që ne mundemi të bëjmë pastrimin e sallës, mund të investojmë, mund diçka të bëjmë, besoj që edhe shkollat pajtohen me këtu. Do të kjo është një mundësi që nëse ne fillojmë me investu në ato shkolla ku gjendja nuk është e mirë. Ka edhe mundësi tjera, do thotë, ka mundësi që ne me punu me tri që mi largu prej shtëpijës, do thotë sa i përket lojnave që ata përdojnë në internet, dhe mi mundësu që mi dhonë ne i falëm di ato mundësit që ju thatë trenimet me prindre, do thotë gjatë ushtrimeve që ata bujnë, dhe kjo është një mundësi që edhe prindrit mi përfshi që ne fëmija t'jenë sa ma pak të mbyllur. Unë e më menë si sot, do thotë ku kam qenë i ri, në qoftë se ne jemi denu, jemi mbyllur në shtëpi. Sot në qoftë se dush me ndenu një fëmijë që të jashtë. Do thotë kështu, që ne duhet me përdor gjitha këto mundësi. Ka shumë mundësi tjera, po tash më stupëm kohë më shumë.
Fantastic. What I love is go to the schools for talent ID. Practical. That's a great action. I will talk to 5 schools in my area for talent ID. Doing an after schools program linked to the facility. There's 2 actions from your SWAT. Fantastic. Love the ideas and the passion. Let's give a round of applause. Really, really good. Now, we're not going to go with everyone, but you can see what we're trying to do is you create the SWOT, you take time out of your busy schedule. And you start to do the research that understands where are you now. One-to-ones, focus groups, and data analysis, desk research, and then your situation analysis. The likes of competitor, SWOT, stakeholder. All of this gives you your foundation of the house. You understand where you are at. Do not go over this stage quickly. I would recommend you finish your SWOT and take one action, like what we've talked about here, and over here. Take one action and then implement that based on your SWOT. That means the SWOT is alive. We're going to take a break for coffee. Yay! Woo! Any questions on that? Research is good. I've spent a lot of time on it because it's important. Next, we're going to go to our goals and objectives. You are going to start to create your plan after the break. Back in 10 minutes. Red Bill, is that okay? 10 minutes. Back in, so that's 25 to. Thank you.
Cooperation with them with someone else on that. That you can do stuff together. Yeah. It's okay, just say if you give me the green, I will put a little bit more meat on the bone, and that's why we can just, okay, so this is the preparation, I want to create with this investment. Just tell them, you tell them that I'll be doing the work, so you don't end up with this. Yeah. Let's do it. Did you start? But that's what you say. I would say.
Hello, over this. We're live? Yeah, okay, everybody? Got everybody back, is everybody back? Everybody back, is everybody back? Hey, everybody back, is everybody back? Please, 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 everybody come back. There we go. So most I think that's everybody back. Okay. Thank you so much. So, we have now finished with research. It's done, gone, you have done the research. The next stage is to create your goals and your SMART objectives. This is us now creating your club plan. Remember, for today's session, we're not going to do vision, mission, or values. We are not going to do those because of time. We're just going to go straight into goals and objectives. We want you to leave today with a basic plan that you can implement. Based on all of this knowledge that you've got over the last number of weekends. So based on this knowledge, creating a plan for your club. It will not be finalised today. You will go back to your clubs, you will meet, and then it will be finalised within 2 weeks. So let's look at goals. Goals are those key areas, those key priorities that will help you achieve your overall where you're heading to. They are big, broad areas of focus. Normally, there's between 3 and 5 goals. Between 3 and 5 goals. And what they do, they take into consideration all of your research. So what did the research tell you? There's an issue with coaching. Well, coaching needs to be a goal. If the research said fan engagement, well then the goal is something around fan engagement. If the research said to you poor governance, then the goal is around governance. Do not get mixed up between an objective and a goal. An objective is big and broad. A goal is several smart, targeted with a target under each objective.
Jeff?
So what do I mean by that?
Jeff?
Yes?
You're fantastic because you just called a goal an objective and an objective a goal. What is broad is the goal, not the objective.
What is broad is the goal. And then under each goal is specific smart objectives. Yep? So let me just put this out. Thank you, Florian. That was my late night last night. There we go. Right. Where's my pen? So, you will have your overall where you're looking to head to. But under that, based on your research, you will have some broad goals. These are broad areas of focus. Governance, income generation, broad areas. Under each broad goal is a number of smart objectives. In other words, there's a target against them with a date and one owner. And under each objective, you will have tasks that we call an action plan. Now, the reason why I'm doing this now is to give you an understanding. Are you watching? Are you watching? Are you watching? Do all of these tasks and actions you achieve this objective? Do all of the actions and tasks under each of these objectives, you complete your goal. Complete all your goal, you reach your vision, where you're looking to head. So these are nice and broad, and the further you go down, objectives, action plans, they get more specific in detail. So goals are broad, big areas of focus. And there's normally between maximum 5 or 6 objectives under a goal. Okay, so I want you to shout out. Objectives are under a goal. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Objectives are under a goal.
Objectives are under a goal.
Yeah. Here's your objectives. Look. Your objectives are under the goal. Clear? Everybody say yes, yeah, or You can go It's clear? Okay. So, here's some examples of some goals, broad areas. It might be governance. Well, we did that yesterday or the day before. It might be grassroots basketball. Participation. This was talked about here a couple of minutes ago. It might be women in basketball, focusing in on growing women's basketball in your club. That might be a focus. It might be 3x3. Yesterday we went to a 3x, no, the day before, yesterday. A 3, was that yesterday? We went to a 3x3 tournament. Fantastic. It might be, from a federation point of view, something to do with league development. It might be income generation. So these are just some examples of broad goals. And you identify these from your research. There's others. Fan engagement is another good example. Financial management you might want to have in there as well. So these are broad areas. Big, broad areas. And under each of the broad areas you will have SMART objectives. Now, we start to get into the meat. Oh, who's excited? Oh, I'm excited. See, when I get people getting together, look, there's Elvira. See, every time I see Elvira, I think best practice and strategy. Love it. So now what we want to do, we're creating a legacy here. Hands up, who wants to create a legacy? Hands up. Hands up. I would expect every hand up. You're in a unique position. You are all in a unique position to create a legacy. Maybe government can do it. But a sport, oh boy, can you do it. Because the more that you're doing on your legacy, you've got fans that follow you, the engagement, the passion, you've got all of the kids that get involved. They might go down a good way rather than going a bad way because of sport. And we have many examples of that. And what's that? Because of the people in this room. So, we want you to focus on a number of broad goals. Now I'm going to kick off, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. I want you to create 3 goals, but I want 2 of them. Whoops. I want 2 of them, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Is governance and finance will be 1. Number 2, youth development. And I'll tell you why in a minute. 3. So I want you in your club to discuss. It is on page. It's in your handouts. Yep, thank you. So this page here, I want you to write into this handout as a club. What are your 3 goals? Pick 3. You can have more, but let's start off with 3. But of your 3 goals, I'm already going to give you 2. Governance and finance, youth development, you select the 3rd. And here is why. Within the Federation, they're going to be introducing club licensing. So you will have to have certain things in here to achieve your license. And that is why. And that means you and the Federation are starting to be aligned. So 3 goals. 1 must be governance and finance. 2 must be youth development. You select the 3rd. And the 3rd could be any of those or others. Fan engagement is another great example. 10 minutes in your groups, in your clubs. In your clubs. 10 minutes. Away you go. So select these 2. Consider the 3rd one. These 2. Select the 3rd one. Okay? And I'll come round. These are just examples.
The point is that but that's how you also get over oppression and so you've got to know yourself. This is why it's good to observe each other and give each other. It's a not that talking about presentation. It has to be like that. Because I know the first workshop that we were, we had to change the topic.
Okay.
I think
So,
you know that.
yep. Perfect. This one. I would think income generation. Perfect. Yep.
You
Those
find
two.
you
And then
like
I've got
that
others.
works, and I think this is the way that works.
So why
To present people can get to switch off completely.
So third one might be
No. It is, but no, it's not taking it. The point is that you work a style as well that
and is that digital for family?
For example, I speak extremely fast, but when I start to do presentations, I try to tone it down, and that's what I need to adjust a little bit. Just to learn to respond to the presence and sometimes I don't like that kind of buffer because I'm
supporter type of thing.
this is where we are going. So we've got medication and that's why it's always check the same content, different groups.
Personally speaking,
Like it is not always identical.
Let you. Good. Are we okay? Love it. Love it.
No, but you should.
Love it. Love it. Perfect. Enough said. We just move on.
I'll tell you.
Okay,
because
you
for me
go.
this is also important.
You can go home.
Tell each other. It's like if she comes with her own makeup, it's something not just going to other places.
Yep.
I think it's better than to go behind the back.
Yep.
That's what I mean. This is the same. I'll tell you if I feel something is nice and I expect the same. It's not a criticism. It's also my opinion. It's also my thing that maybe here. I think that's the best way to grow and it's also good to, I also like to do criticism. But sometimes I just feel I think that I have to look at this because maybe it is too much. Too loud, too quiet. But especially if you, so if I think I'll do this once in a month, so it doesn't matter, then I will pay the most attention. But if you intend to do this regularly, you should definitely, exactly, that's where you focus your attention.
What's the HR would be governance.
I love doing it, but that's not what I aim to do on a daily basis.
It's also, everybody has different styles. So, for example, this environment, people like me, when you kind of measure something similar, you can tell immediately. Example here,
3 minutes. Putting you under pressure. 3 minutes. Well done. Remember, include governance and finance, youth development, because it links with what the Federation are doing, and come up with one more. You can have more than 3 goals, but just for today, we're focusing on 3. You can have 5. But for today, we'll focus on 3. Okay? So most of these 2, select 1. These 2, because of the work with the Federation, you can have more than 3 goals, but for today, we just focus on 3.
But on the other hand, you should laugh. But not 24/7. Yeah. Because it's also, after a while, it's like,
Okay, everybody done? Yep. Everybody say yes, Jeff? That was rubbish. That was rubbish. Everybody say yes, Jeff? Yep. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, I'm going to go here. So I'm going to go here. here for this one. Tell me your three. So again, this is good to listen up. What are your three?
Except the two that you mentioned.
Yep.
I added advancing female basketball.
Okay, really clear? So this club is going to do governance and finance, youth development, and develop women's basketball. Really clear. Nice, broad goals. Okay, so we're going to come in here. If we can, so we've got the first two, governance, youth. What was your third?
Income generation.
Yep, really clear. Income generation. Really clear. Income generation. Can we come in here? Is that okay? Thank you.
Zhvillimi në të rinjit.
Youth, yep, so youth development. Was it youth development? Yep, youth development. Okay. Yep, that's good. Did he do other ones? Okay, okay, good. Yes?
Expand women league.
Okay, expand women, that's all around the women's basketball and the leagues. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so, please.
Nëse qëllim I klubit do të ne veprojmë, qëllimi jonë është që të ardhmen të kemi edhe një ligë shkollore sa I përket gjeneratave të reja, sa I përket të femrat, të vajzat, jo femrat, po vajzat. Kjo është një ndër qëllimet ose objektivat ose po, nuk është me rëndësi si në çfarë aspekti. Kjo është mi po ka dhe qëllim, ne kemi edhe qëllimi të tjera. Do thotë qëllimi jonë është në të ardhmen që ne startojmë edhe me ligën e parë të femrave edhe me U16. Kështu se në cilë. Edhe kemi edhe një qëllim tjetër, një organizim të kampit profesional sa I përket okay, mirë. Muna me projekt.
Yep, so this is organizing a youth league or is youth development. Yeah. And again, girls basketball, this is good as well. Remember, two of your goals will always be these two. It's the third one, income generation, fan engagement, is what we're looking at. Everybody clear? Any questions? Clear? Okay, now we keep going. This is now one of the most important bits. So we've now looked at research, where all the research that we've done, one-to-one, focus group, data, situation analysis, the SWOT, all of that. We've now looked at the three broad areas. Remember, you can have more than three. But for today, we're just focusing on three goals, of which two must be governance and youth development. And the reason why is because of the link with the Federation. So now we're into doing SMART objectives. SMART objectives, like what I was saying, when you do all of your SMART objectives, that then realizes the goal. So if your goal is to improve income generation, in here you will have certain objectives. If you meet all of those objectives, you will obtain the goal of driving income generation. Clear? So under these objectives, if I was looking at income generation, I would be looking at an objective around sponsorship. I would be looking at an objective around match day revenue. I would be looking at revenue around municipality. And if you achieve the revenue streams from those three areas, you increase your money. So the objectives help you to realize your goals. There is a SMART principle. SMART stands for specific. So the objective must be specific. If it's income generation, secure 50,000 sponsorship. It is specific. It must be measurable. 50,000 to be achieved with sponsorship. It's not just generate sponsorship, there's a figure. It must be achievable. If last year you brought sponsorship of 10,000 euros, you cannot say we're going to get 5 million because it's not achievable. It must have someone responsible, an owner, and it must have a date. And this is the principle that you will be working on next. Remember, we're here to help, but you're the experts, not me. You're the experts. All we're doing is putting a framework around it, but you are the experts. So here's our table. Please, please, please listen in. This is important. If you don't get this, then we're in trouble. Objectives. So let's say the goal is grow commercial revenue, grow income generation. Yep, everybody clear on the goal? Yep. So if that is the goal, to grow commercial revenue, how will we do this? Well, number one, we will generate revenue from food and beverage on game day. So it's specific. It's food and beverage on game day. Look, one person! I want to hear you say that.
I will never say that.
Commercial manager. It's one person. Look, the date. It is not July 2021. It is not. It is the 31st of July 2021. There is an actual physical date. Don't worry, we're a year behind. We did this pre-COVID. But there's an actual physical date, the 31st of July. And look, 10,000 is in the bank. So this becomes a smart objective under growing commercial revenue. It's match day, who's responsible, an actual date, and the figure. Forget about these columns for now. Let's take another one. Generate sponsorship revenue. Look, it's clear. Under commercial revenue, look, it's clear. It's sponsorship. Who's responsible? One person. Look at the date. It's an actual physical date. Look what's being achieved. 50,000. 50,000 in the bank. Clear. Let's take another one. Merchandising. It's clear. It's merchandising. There's one person. There's an actual physical date. So if I was looking at that and this was my income and you're the commercial manager, how much money are you tasked to bring in? How much money? How much? 70,000. Is it 100,000? You're right, by the way. Is it 100,000? Is it 5,000? Is it 15,000? Is it 30,000? Is it 70,000? Clear. Crystal clear. If you have not brought in 70,000, you have not hit your objectives. And one person then feels the pressure of having to bring in 70,000. Now listen to me. This one person necessarily does not have to physically do it, but they're responsible for achieving that objective. So they may bring in a commercial committee to work alongside them, but it is them that are overall responsible. Any questions? Now, some people ask me, okay, Jeff, what about governance? because you cannot put a figure behind governance. Yeah, correct? But maybe you want to recruit a new staff member. Let's say a general manager. Let's say you wanted to recruit a general manager. Well, what I would do is this. Under the objectives, I would say recruit a general manager. Yep. I would then look responsibility. I will say it's the president or VP. One person. The date, I will put 31st of December 2022. The KPI could be contract signed by a new general manager. It's clear. When they sign the employment contract, objective is done. Maybe you want to put in a, let's say, a safeguarding policy. Remember, we talked about that before, safeguarding policies. It's maybe then the VP is responsible. The date might be 31st of November 2022. The KPI could be policy approved by board. So the policy physically comes to the board, and the board rubber stamp it in a minute and say, we are happy. Clear. There's a clear element, a clear of the KPI being met. So sometimes the objective will not have a figure. Income generation is easy because there's a figure. Where there's not the KPI, you've got to be a little bit more creative. And in essence, it will be contract signed, maybe if it's financial reports approved by the assembly or approved by your board each month, whatever it may be. But you still then can measure. Questions on that? Everybody, is it clear? If it's clear, say yes, yeah? Yes. Okay. See when I come around the table, see if nobody's not clear. Right, so please take a photograph of that. This is our best way of translating the columns. We try to do it in Albanian. So please take a photograph if it doesn't make sense. These are just translation. So these are translation of what this is. This is a translation of this, of this.
Very good, Josh.
Is it good? I did this. I learned fast, yeah. So if you want it, but it's clear, yeah? Okay. So let's test your knowledge. Is that a good objective? Yes or no? Okay, have a look at that. Have a look at that. Is that a good objective? Have a look. Is this a good objective? Yep.
I remember. Maybe next time it's going to be 31st of February.
It's not specific.
Okay, let's give a round of applause. Yep. In fact, I'm not going to give you a round of applause. I'm going to give you a whoop whoop. Yeah, it is not a good objective. How is it not a good objective? There is no individual owner. Look, there's 3 people. Well, I thought you were doing it. You thought you were doing it. You thought you were doing it. I thought you were doing it. No owner. But you said he was doing it. I didn't. So this happens. If you have one person, remember they don't have to physically do it all, but they're responsible for the objective. Timeline. When did we do it for? No date. And the other one, no KPI. So under this fundraising, this is fundraising, there's no KPI. So is it €5 we bring in? Or is it 50,000 euros? Don't know. So this is not. Now, we're going to do the same, but where's Elvira? Elvira's in the house, Elvira's in the house. Here she goes, and here she goes, and Elvira's in the house. Come on, give her a round of applause. Well, yeah. Brilliant.
No, sorry, I don't want to break the momentum of your beautiful singing, but no, I just wanted to, if we can go back to the previous slide, just to add one little thing, and just, I don't want to confuse, but let's say coaching, you could put a very smart objective, which could be, I want to train 60 coaches in the level 1. And then your KPI is very clear, it's 60, right? It's not 45, it's not 50, it's 60. Train. But pay attention to the way you phrase it. You can train 60 people, but maybe none of them will pass the test successfully. So maybe what you want to phrase is, I want 60 certified level 1 coaches, which has an impact on the budget, because to reach that number, maybe you will need to have 5, 6, 7 courses to actually reach that number of successful candidates. So just I wanted to make that point, pay attention to the way you phrase it, because this has an impact on how you're going to do things, how you're going to budget, and so on.
Very good. That's a great point. Great point. Now we want you to create 3 smart objectives under your 3 goals. We want you to create 3 smart objectives under each of your 3 goals. So if you have 3 goals, it's 9 objectives. Is that clear? Now, at the start, we talked about governance and finance and youth development to be 2 of your 3 goals. And the reason is, we will be implementing some criteria that you must have in place, so it's good that your plan already has these there. So I brought on Elvira. Elvira, if we look at governance and finance, and it is important that you write this down. One of the areas that we touched on is administration. People, tell me about what you're looking under governance in terms of administration.
Dje kur kemi bisedu me qef edhe me persona tjerë zyrtarë që në të FIBA-s, çka po dojmë nxjerr prej krejt këtij seminari, një prej tyre ka qenë edhe për me diskutuar edhe për këto që po ndodh sot këtu me strategic planning edhe me kriteret që Federata e Basketbollit këtë edicion ka me I vendos para klubeve për me plotësu. Edhe mandej kemi ardhur te ajo çka mendon Federata e Basketbollit të Kosovës, normalisht këto do të më marrë edhe mendimin e ju. A kishte me qenë mirë që secili klub, sidomos Superliga e Kosovës, ashtu Superliga e Femnave, Liga e Parë, në këtë edicion me pas secili nga një administrator të punësuar, jo vullnetar. Njëri punësuar full time që punon prej 8-4, 9-5 ose edhe jashtëavrarit, po që është full time. Çka ka me bë ky administratori? Administratori ka për kujdes për këtë komunikimin normalisht brenda klubit mas pari, edhe mandej me federatën edhe me këtë part të interesit të klubeve. E dini që sponsorët i nënshkruani kontratat, kena obligime ndaj tyre, nëse nuk e ki një marketing manager, e ki administratorin I cili ka më për kujdes për një gjatë të tillë. Pra komunikimin e brendshëm të jashtëm me këtë grupet e interesit, me federatën, emaillat, FIBA-n, nëse merrni pjesë nga ndërkombëtare, pra Ky kishte me qenë personi administratori ose administratorja që kishte me u punësu në Federatën e Basketbollit. Na kishim me vendos një KPI për këto, për shembull, një datë deri në me një shtator, më konë e realizueshme, a kishim më konë e realizueshme se cilin klub të Superligës, edhe të Superligës femnave, edhe të ligës së parë.
Thoughts? What do we think? Yeah. Just over here.
For itself?
Have we have a microphone?
No.
Okay.
Hello everybody, faleminderit Elvira. Mu më pëlqen si ide që e gëzën edhe bravo për përkushtimin në sportit, për gëzën për këtë punë edhe unë e kisha po të arsysh me qështu që e thet qëtë ide, se shumica e klubet kanë nevojë për një sens e lodhë, për me klubet në Kosovë jënë të ikë shumë për një diçka që do me zhvillu dhe me thonë. Unë jam për veti punoj që shumë vjetë, Elvira e din që so merna me klub basketit, dhe me thonë në qytet tamin edhe e shet që kom me mangësi, dhe me thonë i luj 3 roli, dhe me thonë. Për pas si koordinator, dhe me thonë që moj procesin, majtë se luj edhe si ndim të trener, dhe me thonë një moj trenera, në klub tamin, dhe me thonë. Për pas edhe statistika, unë këto për gëzej, unë e për veti, unë da qatë në të më vetë, për këto tamin, nga unë e jam.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Rolin e administratorit, unë jam një biznesmen edhe jemi një firmë familjare. Po që 3 vjetë kemi punësu një administrator edhe jemi 3 vazë. Edhe kjo ka qenë një ndër veprimet më të mira që ne kemi mujtë mi bo në firmë që do të çdo informacion që ne kemi nevojë, çdo përgjegjësi që ne do të na duket diçka, ne drejtohemi te administratori. Unë mendoj që klubet, sidomos të Superligës, kjo kish me qenë nevojë, do thotë patjetër për klubet. Ne jemi në klub, jemi 3-4 persona, të cilat kryjnë detyra të ndryshme dhe nuk dinë nga njerë i përzimin përgjithësitë tjere ose ai të unë, kështu që unë mendoj që roli i administratorit në klube kish me qenë me të vërtetë një hap shumë i mirë. Nuk dija do të mundot Elvira tha deri në shtator, nuk dija do të mundot kjo mu apliku për shkak se po du me lidh pak me mentalitetin tonë, ndoshta sa i përket në klube që jemi, po kish me qenë një veprim me të vërtetë shumë i mirë, në qoftë se kjo fillohet. Do të Federata që 2-3 vite shumë gjëra ka fillu t'i aplikoj, me të vërtetë neve nuk ka ndodhur ndoshta pak si të vështira, po sot janë shumë të thjeshta, edhe me të vërtetë na kanë lehtësuar punën tonë. Besoj që edhe në qoftë se fillojnë klubet e Superligës në formën e do të me pas një administrator, kjo kish me qenë edhe për neve si klube shumë ma e lehtë, do të në tamë, por edhe për federatën për shkak komunikimit që ka të përditshëm me klubet, do të kthimi emailave apo të përgjigja përmes telefonave kish me qenë shumë okay, sepse çdo klub kish me pas një person aty i cili është në gjendje 8 orë apo 6 orë, nuk e di sa klubet mendojnë që është mirë me qenë ai aty. Mi po mendoj që është me vërtet një hap i mirë, në qoftë se kjo vendoset edhe mirë nga Federata. Faleminderit.
Yep. One over here, I think as well. Yep.
Just wanted to add a little bit, because I just agreed previously with what the gentleman said, but I do believe that based on the experience that we've had this year, that having an administrator is essential. At least, I mean, depending on the budgets of the clubs, I mean, because some are not everyone has the same budgets, but at least for the Super League, I feel like having an administrator and maybe, I mean, thinking about, like, even when we license the clubs, maybe I don't know, maybe even make it part of the requirement, but I definitely feel like it would help improve a lot, just because communication is, like key. So doing this has to be done. So.
Great, thank you. Can I just a show of hands? Does everybody agree that that's something to be looked into? Okay, so that's fine. If we don't have time to discuss everything because we've got more to do, But we will leave this as an objective to recruit an admin person full time by September 2022. That may not be achievable, but you put down a date. Tell me about finance. I want to go to another objective. Tell me about finance under governance. What would you like from your...
Ekipet e Superligës meshkujve edhe Superligës femnave normalisht që edhe ekipet e tjera për me marrë holla përmes ligjit për sponsorizim do të përgatit një auditim, përmes aty auditimi e marrin edhe vërtetimin për sponsorizim, po shumica e klubeve në Federatën e Basketbollit të Kosovës nuk kanë zyrtar, menaxher financa ose zyrtar financa. Kështu që na përvesojmë që ose part-time ose full-time kishte me qenë mirë me secili klub e Superligave me punësu një zyrtar ose menaxher financave I cili kishte me punu në bazë auditore javore mujore në klubet e Superligave për këtë vetë, pra si kriter për këtë vetë për klubet e Superligave. Çka kishte me bëu ky zyrtar ose menaxher I financave ose menaxhere, Federatën e Basketbollit është menaxhere, kishte me përgatitur së bashku me normalisht me hierarkinë e klubit, me bordin, me menaxherin general menaxherin e klubit, kishte me përgatitur së bashku planin financiar, po edhe në baza mujore kishte me raportu tek bordi I klubit, jo tek Federata. Kjo siç shpesh nuk ka të bëjë direkt me neve, po ka të bëjë me transparencën brenda vetë komunitetit të klubit. Këtë veprim e bëjmë ne, për shembull, çdo 15 çdo muaj ne raportojmë para bordit të Federatës, marrim feedback, me rëndësi është që raporti ju shkon për çdo muaj dhe çdo 3 muaj, çdo 6 muaj dhe çdo 12 muaj. Pra kishte me lecu shumë punën edhe kur e keni menaxher financave dhe hierarkia që u faltje e pagesave, shpenzimeve, miratimit, kjo kishte me u rregullu.
So, what I got from that is to have financial reporting in place. What is that? An annual budget, monthly income and expenditure, and annual audited accounts.
Po normalisht që zyrtari financave do të me punu me auditor. Ju shkon gati 2 muaj, me ti prej së bashku me general menaxherin edhe me zyrtarin e financave, na punu gati 2 muaj për më përgatit për me çu krejt dokumentat e auditorit, por njëkohësisht e kemi edhe kompaninë e kontabilitetit, do të thotë zyrtarja menaxherja financave, sekretari I përgjithshëm edhe kompania e kontabilitetit që punojnë krejt 3 palë punojnë për auditorin.
So,
po pak më shumë buxhet, po.
If we look at as part of a criteria that every club has a budget before the start of the year, monthly income and expenditure, and audit accounts, so that's a criteria. Hands up who agrees with that. Yeah? Okay. Because this manages your business, doesn't it? And again, let me stress, you might look at this and go, oh, and it will be for a bit of time like this. But when these principles get put in place, your club will be in a better position. Okay, let me talk on the third one, and I just want one here, and then we leave it over. Contract of players, talk to me about that.
Kur po flasim për kontratat e lojtarëve, po flasim për kontrata, secili klub me pas kontrata me lojtarët dhe lojtarët, edhe vendorët edhe ndërkombëtarët, sidomos për kontratat me ndërkombëtarët për neve janë pak kokçarje, sepse ato jo të mbylluna dhe si të mbylluna do të edhe mundërzuar Federatën e Basketbollit, sidomos kur vim para një akti, kur do të me shu lojtarin pa dëshirën e juve dhe kërkohet kontrata, nuk është kontrata, jo s'mund, jo kështu që edhe me në shku kontratat, edhe me lojtarët e huj, edhe me lojtarët me ndorë në mënyrë që nëse ndodhë në rast diçka që nuk doni me lëshu, a I doni me u largu, ka kontrat, kemi pas shumë raste dhe kemi pas shumë kokçarje atër, kontrata në Federatën e Basketbollit e mbron me njëherë klubin, sepse ne të shmojmë që ka kontrat, me fakte, me krejt, kështu që edhe lojtarët me ndorë edhe për lojtarë ndërkombëtar. Ato e të mbyllën, anani ku shikon kërkosh, veç kur bëhet problemi, atëherë do të mi hapë dhe mi dorëzu në funda.
Mu i bu kërkesë prej federatës që para regjistrimit në pas një kontratë, dhe na kishte plotësuar ne në fundin se na kishte bërë si kusht që na më dërgu kontratat edhe
e çojmë çdo para fillim edicioni.
Po ajo.
O veçon emailin prej komisarit Gora e mi dorëzu, askush nuk i dorëzon kontratat.
Jo nuk alasat në po.
Po, është përmes fatonit, është edhe nemi në propozicionet garave që duhet me ndodhë një gjallë tjetër.
So, what I get from this good governance is that player contracts are in place. Player contracts are signed. That's good governance. Radmila, I'm going to bring you in. How important is it to have good governance, and especially linked to the criteria that the Federation want to implement to the clubs? How important is it to really focus on governance, first of all, and how important is it to align with the club licensing criteria that the Federation want to implement? How important is that, those two things?
It's the most important, because in the end of the day, it's almost like running your own family. We often give this example. If you want to have, if you like success, to have your house in order, you've got to put number one, if you like exactly the governance, the setup of your family in order, have your budget, and then know what you're doing in the future. Most people do this in their private life, but they don't necessarily transfer it into the business. Looking around Europe with different models, quite often we have an issue where Federation is trying to put the house in order, if you like, work well with the clubs, because the clubs are the heart and the soul of the community, and they bring the players in, and the players, of course, live in the clubs and develop there. But when it's a chaotic organization and the budgets are not mentioned well and the players' contracts are not managed well, and there is a, if you like, an unhappy community, the Federation cannot really do the job for them. So quite often we have this, if you like, poor relationship between one and the other, and this is why it's quite important to have, if you like, the key structures in place, starting with who is responsible for, if you like, this particular club, who manages the day-to-day operations, who reports to who spends the money on what, and where do players and everybody else fit into it. And I can see that you'll move down to the structures, but this is what is missing quite often, especially in this region, among the clubs, that everything is focused on results, and of course we're in the sporting environment, results matter, winning cups matter, but also having, as we say, the house in order is crucial to have a good image and long-term success.
Great, thank you. I just want to touch on youth development, and then it's over to you. So tell me about youth development. What age groups are you looking to have in place regarding your criteria?
Vitin e kaluar kemi pas dy gjenerata pjesë kritereve, U14, U16, si vjen do të më shku edhe një kategori më lart, secili klub senior do të më pas për shemb, po propozojmë pas, që duhet më pas, U14, U16, U18. Kur e thon që do të më pas, atë do të më pas, por do të më përkujdes për ta. Nuk do të vetëm me i kriju edhe me i lon trenerat mandej me bo çka dojnë me ta. Tash për lidhje po dal prej kësaj tek technical manager, me emnu, prej këtyre trenerave që janë kuadër të klubeve, me emnu njëri që është përgjegjës, që kam i përcjell gjeneratat, prej këto gjenerata, edhe që ky person ka mi raportu drejtorit përgjithshëm, për shembull këtë rast Etos, ja do i raporton bordit për këtë tesorin e garave të kategorive 3. Dhe ky person ka mi qenë përgjithë që ka mi raportu këtë rast për marrë shembull të Sigal Prishtina, Etos ka mi thonë ky lojtar prej U16 mundet me dalë U18, ky prej U18 mundet me dalë tek seniorët, është i gatshëm, do të thotë me kon një person përgjithë që ka mi përcjell krejt koordinator për zhvillim technical. Nuk ja gjejshëm emrin kështu, po mirë po thotë koordinator për zhvillim të gjeneratave të reja, për shembull. Kështu që këto e prunëm në vëmendje pikërisht për ato që u fali dje prej Edos e tutje që kena shumë nevojë për një person i cili kishte mi menaxhu, edhe ky person baza drejtori që me pas kontakt me trenerat, edhe njëkohësisht me drejtorin e përgjithshëm. Drejtori i përgjithshëm është ai që i raporton bordit edhe edhe kryetarit për krejt që ka ndodh rreth gjeneratave të reja.
So, under the youth development, to hit your criteria, it's U14, 16 and 18 teams in place, and to recruit a technical coordinator person. Okay, clear. Okay, let's give Elvira a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. So, let me be really, just to wrap everything up, and then it's over to you. Normally, you decide all of your goals. But this time, we have focused 2 of the goals on the criteria that the Federation want to set. So the clubs and the Federation need to be aligned. So by doing this, we are aligning your plan with the plan of the Federation. What you have done, you've come up with a 3rd goal, like income generation, and you can have a 4th or a 5th goal, no problem. But just because of time, we're focusing on 3. What we want you to do now is, under governance and finance, using the table, and all of the tables are in your handout. Thank you. So under this goal, you will see we have given 3 templates, like what's here. So what we would like to do is we want you now to fill in this one for governance and finance, fill in a 2nd one for youth development, and fill in the 3rd one for your 3rd goal. But just so we're absolutely clear, if you're going to governance and finance, these are the 3 objectives that we're looking to put in place. Recruit an admin person, have a budget, monthly income and annual reports in place, and all player contracts in place. Those are your 3 objectives for this goal. Under youth development, have a U14, 16 and 18 teams in place. You decide when and who's doing it. And recruit a technical coordinator. You can come up with a 3rd objective, no problem. And then under the 3rd goal, we want you to add in your 3 objectives. And we are going to give you now half an hour to do that once we come up for questions. So fill in this table for every goal. Any questions? Maybe what we'll do is Florian, O'Reilly and Quinmilla will go round, because this is important to get this right. Any questions? So complete the 3 goals, of which some, please come up to the board and fill these in, and then let's see where we go. We will do 30 minutes, because this is now really vital. Over to you.
I'm going to take it. Yeah.
What kind of break you want?
Very good.
Sleeping or?
No, restful. Feeling good? We're almost done.
Thank you.
So this one is from Gents, everything okay? It's okay? We're happy enough? Okay? It just takes time. So, we take governance and finance, youth development, and your third goal. And then it just takes third goal. Brilliant. But maybe even focus on the two. If the third goal is a problem, maybe focus on the first two, and maybe you can take this back to your club, something like this. Okay? Great. How are we getting on, gents? I know you missed the yes. Ah, you could. Okay. But everything's okay? Yeah. Okay. So the measurement. Yep. No, isn't. That sounds like two to me. It sounds like a facility. And it sounds like numbers of people. So which one is it? Is it a facility? So what's this one? Is this facility? Okay, so what I would do, invest in facilities. Okay, so one person is Jen. Completion date is 31st of January 2023. Measurement, if you, Jim paint. Or maybe it could be, for example, new floor installed. So then this would be one. Next one, if it schools. So this would be low number of school children. So again, January 23, and this would be 200 girls, 200 or whatever the figure is. So see this here? This could be whatever. So here, it's very clear, new floor installed. It may not be a new floor, it might be to paint the changing room, whatever. Here, number of kids, we want 50 girls, 50 boys, by this. Okay? How are we doing? Yep. Nice. So, yep. Oh, 2022. So you don't have, here, you don't have contract. So this is just for, this is red, amber, green. So red, amber, or we get behind it, and then we have in November, green. So like this, so, yeah. So what will happen, we will go through it, but every 3 months, you as a club will meet, and you will say, okay, general manager, where are you with the recruitment? And then he'll say, so let's say 3 months, May, June, July, August, and then the general manager comes back and says, I haven't done anything. Or you might say, job description done, job advert going out, will be a month behind. Job interview going live next week. Here will be. Yep. All players. Well, just do another. I can't be seen for me. Communicating with the federation and all of that. They might be. Well, what I would do in that is I would put that in as a governance because it's forward and governance type of activity. Here, you're talking about, for example, recruitment of the people, but what about recruiting the actual kids? What about, so what needs to happen to make this? Here you've just done the coaches, but maybe you want to create a marketing campaign, create a movement day for kids of those age groups on this. So there, that side you're getting the kids, this side you're going to coach. So the next stage, and this is the so my section goes, okay, so what we need to do What else? Interviews. What else? What do you do before the interview? Select the interview. So, what we've done, we've already come up with action things. But those things what you do is you go back to your blog and you'll say
Anyway, something that they
Which sounds nice.
Yes.
For here, you put the dates that you want, here you go on the slide. So you put the date when you think that the contract will be signed with you will sign. For the administration and the finance person. Then it's about having the players Then it's the what are the objectives that you there is a commission or whatever that has to follow the objective and the president. So when it comes
Good, good. Gents. Yep. Good. This is all fine here, which is good. Finance today? Yes. So this is governance and finance. Those three. This will be youth development. And then this will be your other goal. Whatever your other goal is. So we're looking 1, 2, 3, yes. 10 minutes. Okay? Can I see you? So this is what we talked about, okay, clear? Okay, your other goals? So here, this is, what is this? This is women's? Okay. So women's. 9, next one. Governance and finance. Okay, there's the 3 up there. And here is youth development. And again up here. So you need to complete all of these. 1, 2, 3. Yes. 1, 2, 3. So here's there's the 3 goals up there for governance and finance. So you can just write them down. Okay? Okay? Summer camps. How many people? Yep. So many. Okay, so let's say.
So she'll put it now in priority, but then share with you. You put it in, she'll have it in Albanian as well. So in Albanian it would appear there. Because even at the end we can put just one slide in Albanian, the same thing. So they can take a shot knowing it.
And then here.
Okay, you have someone putting bullet points on the board, right?
Yep.
What she's going to
So
say.
that is for
the one-on-one interview, as you say.
We can do it that way. Yeah, we can do it. That they should have this, take a shot and just write it in Albanian. I think that's better.
Yep. Okay.
We can have already okay, but in Albanian. It's better in Albanian.
Excellent. The team, you don't, I always forget her name, but she's from the
So all up here, so see the one here? So governance and finance. Here is recruit and administrate. Employee, contract signing, and then reporting, the financial reporting. So those are the 3 that need to go in there. Alright? Gents, how are we doing? Good? So, see, because this is the first time, it's way and more coming. You're established on the junior club and sport campus.
So we have to think about this, with our money, with our mentality, with our...
But what we're doing is, what's in here now? Because it's, so this is, so what we're doing So have you got all 3 goals, 3 objectives of the 3 goals? Gentlemen, how are you doing? Yep.
X number of hours.
This is governance. Good. So again, we want each of these table lines down there as much as possible. Yeah. So take a KPI. So for example, sponsorship is achieved 3,000. Things like this. 10,000. Yes. Because then you can see what we're wanting is 3 objectives on 3 goals. 2 of the goals will be governance and finance and development. The third goal will be your and then 3. So we'll everybody okay? So fill the rest all in. And there's other ones. So governance and finance. Objectives here. Recruit an admin person. Yes. Yep. So, yes. 3. I want 3 in governance. I want 3 in, yes. So, yes.
It was so funny when because
do the financial reporting and plan contracts. Done. Okay? Everybody okay? Yep.
as a commissioner in the match between 59.
Okay, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I'm going to write a official letter to the Federation.
Finish them all up. Finish them all up.
Really? Yes. And then, come on, we were kidding. It's okay.
But we are not.
But we are not.
No, I don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
What's the difference?
The advantage actually was that the moment that they officiated my position as a commissioner of the basketball approach and said that we want to do it was a very positive one. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but before that,
Yeah. So this is, she already told me that. She said, get ready, as of next season you're going to be in Man City. I'm not gonna tell you. No. He's my friend. He stops by in Christina and I checked the Instagram. It's here. You were not here last night. You were here the night before. No.
but then I can go to
Okay, everybody? That's us. Thank you. So, again, I just want to get some. So it's okay. It's all right. Chit-chatting. What's happening? Okay, I just want to get some feedback So again, I'll go here and we'll work our way around. So I'll start here. Again, this is important to see what people have put down. So give me one objective. So what's the goal? What's the objective? And talk me through the one line, please.
So the goal would be youth development.
Yep.
And then the objective would be recruiting a under 18 coach.
Yep.
And 2 assistant coaches for under the 16 and under 14.
Good. And who will do that?
The person responsible would be the general manager.
The date?
The date of completion would be August 1st, 2022.
And the KPI?
Would be a contract signed.
Very good.
Yeah.
Really clear. Round of applause. Can we go to here? Thank you. Thank you. Really clear. Let me go to, I'm going to go your different income generation. So give me the first one. Just take me through the first one. Again, it is important to hear what other people have put down so you can learn from each other. So what is the goal?
The goal is VIP seasonal ticket
Let's see it
sales.
up here. What's the goal?
Yeah, income generation.
Okay, what's the objective?
VIP seasonal ticket sales.
Yep.
The responsible administrator.
Yes.
By 13 October 2022.
And what's the KPI?
50,000 euros.
Absolutely clear. It's income generation, it's VIP ticket sales, one person, one date, 15,000. It is clear. Very good. Round of applause. Yep. Let me go over to here. Can we get one here? What would you like? Yeah, what's this one here? What's this? No, let's go to one that's not. Governance. So what have we got? Under. Yeah, use development. Okay, give me one. What is the goal?
Përmoshtë edhe organizimi I kampeve, ku do me thonë përgjithësi ka me po për zhvillimin e trive, është organizimi I kampeve, posaçërisht verore, ku përgjithësi ka me marrë treneri kryesor, trinje, ka me qenë do me thonë koordinatori kryesor që e cakton drejtori general, që do të jetë do me thonë me datën parë 6/2022 deri me 5/6/2022, do me thonë 2 orë. Dhe qëllimi I klubit është me I përdu sa ma shumë tri, për shembull me pas I numër 100 nxënësa ku në të armën që mund me hapin akademisë, për shembull të klubit ku mund me lidh me hapin akademisë. Do me thonë ata që regjistrohen në kampin veror, ka me pas mundësi do me thonë më regjistru edhe në klubin tonë.
Okay, again, very clear, it's a summer camp, it's 100 kids. Really clear, and there's a date and one owner. Let's give a round of applause. Let's go back here. So again, just pick one objective under one goal. So give me the goal and the money. Give me the money. Youth development, yep. And just give me one objective.
Objektivi jonë kryesor domethënë për këtë zhvillimin e të rive është krijimi I grup moshave prej 8 vjet deri në 12 vjet, domethënë në 8 vjet edhe deri në 12 vjet. Këta do ta bëj koordinatori I cili është I klubit, së bashku me trenerat, cilët do të caktohen nga klubi, edhe kjo do të kryhet deri në këto organizime do të kryhen deri në shtator. Ku qëllimi do të jetë që kemi sa më tepër fëmijë, femra sigurisht, edhe do të ketë 3 lloje kampeve, prej 6 deri në 8 vjet, 8 deri në 10 vjet, edhe 10 deri në 12 vjet.
Okay, so this is good. Okay, everyone, just so we know. So this is good. There's 3 camps. So the camps are clear. That's a good KPI. What would be an even better KPI is the number of girls.
As much as we can.
But what we want is, say, for example, 30.
For each. Për secilën qenuret, paktën më pres ka 30 vajza minimum.
30. Now, this makes the objective smart because it's 30 in each age group. Excellent. Round of applause. Thank you. Come on. And we will go in here. Maybe your women. Okay, again, it is important so we can learn from each other. So this is, what is your goal?
So the goal is to advance female basketball.
Yep, and give us one of your objectives.
Yeah, one of the objectives?
Yep.
Okay, so maybe the other colleagues mentions the camps. I
Yep.
have the same one.
Yep.
But I'm gonna mention another one.
Okay.
Maybe employing a qualified conditioning coach
Oh.
or a sports psychologist.
Yep.
And the one who would be responsible for this would be the general manager.
Yep.
The completion date would be maybe the 10th of July 2022, and the KPI would be the contract signed.
Okay, really, again, from a recruitment point of view, it is a strength and conditioning coach, clear. Date, owner, contract signed. What I like here as well is not only the person, but we will do some camps. So is it 2 camps, 3 camps, 5 camps? And how many people? That is where your KPI, your measurement needs to be exact. And if you don't know the number of people, well then say 5 camps a year. Or you could say 5 camps a year, minimum of 30 people in each camp. And that makes the objective really, really smart. Let's give a round of applause. Okay, so we're just pushing on, if that's okay. Everybody still with me?
Yes.
Ah, it's not, it's yes, yeah, come on! Ella bella, okay, so we have now gone through a number of areas. Where are we now? Granite's in the house, granite's in the house. Let's give Granite, come on, give him a round of applause, there he is. There he is. Granite is one of our timeout students. He's a timeout student. Timeout is a program that Radmilla, if you don't know Radmilla, an Olympian, the amount of times that she has represented her country, where you are here, if you want to talk about development events, use this time to talk to Radmilla. And I was joking at the start, but now I'm not. When you have somebody here with her knowledge, use it! Go and set up, say, look, can I have coffee? And sit with her. Really? Refereeing. Sorry. If you want to know about refereeing, referees within the league, has all of that knowledge. Sit with her. She will not bite.
Not the first time.
Only technical.
And Florian.
Not even.
The Florian who has put all of this together, not only the knowledge, but from FIBA centrally, all of the knowledge of all of the programs, not only on court, but especially off court. Take him for coffee. Ask, what would you do? When this knowledge is here, don't just go. Stay and meet us. Because this is where you really get additional help. So what we've done is we've done the research where we focused on SWOT. Then we've looked at goals and SMART objectives. Really well done. Really well done. It's not me, it's you. So really well done. Yeah. The other areas I will touch on briefly, but they are important, and only briefly because of time. Is that okay? So, the next thing that you do is you've got to create an action plan. Everybody say tasks. Let's be a little bit more conviction. Everybody say tasks. Okay, so under every single objective, you will have tasks. Now, many people have talked about recruitment. So let's say the admin to recruit an admin person. What tasks do you need to do to recruit someone? Shout out. Interview. Yep. So there's one. Interview. What else do you need to do? Actually hold the interview. Yes. Develop the job description. What else? What? Oh, announce who it is. Yes. Announce the person. Yep. What else? Filter. Yep. So filter candidates for the interview. What else?
You can always let something else.
Selection is the answer.
Yes. Selection. Appoint. What else?
Signing contract.
Sign contract. What else?
Onboarding.
Yeah. I need to come back here. I'm only going to say this once. Top of the class. Top of the class. Top of the class. I'm liking that. Onboarding. An induction. You've got to do an induction. Yeah. What else? Okay, here's some other bits. Here's some other bits. You've got to identify the interview panel. Who's going to do the interview? The interview panel plus their questions. You've got to advertise the role. You've got to get board approval.
Qualification.
Board approval on the salary. What was that somebody said?
Qualification.
Yeah, you've got to identify the criteria that you're needing for this person. Now, we have done this in 90 seconds. So your overall objective is to recruit an admin person. In 90 seconds, you've developed the tasks that need to be covered to recruit that person. In 90 seconds. So what you do now is you prioritize them. So you might say, board approval, that's number 1. You might say, develop job description, number 2. You might say, criteria is number 3. You might then say, interview panel is number 4. You might then say, you get my point. So you're prioritizing the tasks. Why would you have an action plan or task list? Why? Why?
Në qoftë se ne kemi folë për strategji. Në qoftë se ne dojmë të arrijmë atë strategjinë që duhet me pas një plan veprimi, se kjo është ajo që duhet me ndërtu një plan veprimi për me arrit strategjinë që e kemi përmend më herët.
Excellent. Totally agree. And here's another example. Let's say you did not have a task list and you just went ahead and recruited someone. And let's say you forgot to do the induction. Forgot to do it. Are you preparing that person for the role? No. But because you have it written down as a task, this helps you to prepare the person for the role. Let's say, for example, you forgot to develop a job description. Let's just advertise it. Let's get somebody in. And then they come and say, what's my role? We forgot the job description. An action plan or a task list helps you not to forget things. And there are the key tasks under each objective. Remember, you will have a goal. Under each goal, you will have 3 to 5 objectives. But under each objective, you will have a task list. And you can see what we're doing. We're going from this to really detailed. And that's good practice, because you don't forget something. So that's what we do. Normally, you put them in the same principle as the objectives. Use the SMART. You put a budget against it. And look, here's an example. Create revenue. Recruit a marketing person. Confirm the sponsorship baseline. Create an asset register. Establish a sponsorship structure. Create the packages. Create the list of businesses to target. Create a sales presentation, etc. You can see the detail under one objective. You can see the detail. So rather than saying, I'm going to achieve 50,000 of sponsorship, these are the things that I need to do to make that happen. These are the things that I need to do to make this objective happen. And we touched on this at our first weekend. We touched on this on our first weekend. So this is the reason why you need a task. Same form. You just get the goal. Let's say it's income, commercial value. Objective is sponsorship of 50,000. And you identify the key tasks or actions under that objective. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, there's 7. Normally there's 7 to 10. The more specific, then the less chance you have of missing something out. And that's why you do action plans. Questions? Does it feel okay? Detailed, isn't it? Yeah. And I would suggest you look at this in terms of action plans. Rather than just saying, here's my objective to recruit someone. Look, we've done that in 90 seconds. And this allows you to not forget something important, like induction, creating the job description. Okay, budgets. Now, does anybody want to take a copy of that? No? No? Good. So, when you then have a plan, you need to have money. And the best way for me is budgets can help you every year. And here's the way I would do it. Here is your income. Remember, this is what Pedro talked about. Here is your expenditure. Here's January, February, March, April, etc., etc. 12 months. And all you do is you put in what your sponsorship figure is, your ticketing, etc., etc., and you put in the month that money will come in. So let's say sponsorship, 50,000 will be in in March. Ticketing, it's going to be 2K, 2K, 2K each of those months. So the total is 2, 2, 52, and 2. Dead simple. Under expenditure, it might be rental of the gym. It might be players' wages. Same thing. Under January, February, March, you create a budget. And this budget should relate to your goals and objectives. So we've already went through that with Pedro, so I'm not going to focus on it too much. We had a full session on financial. The point I am saying, you need to have a budget linked to your plan. Here's some thoughts. Here's all the income streams you can look at, and all the expenditure streams. And you identify the ones that is related to you. You identify the ones related to you. Now, when you have done this, you then need to say, who's going to deliver it? And what's our organisational structure? So you might have, let's say, the board. Then you might have the president. Then you might have the general manager or chief executive. But under them, you might have your coaching team, it might be your club officer, it might be your comms person, it might be your commercial. So what is and who is the organisational structure that is going to drive your income? In some cases, these are full-time people. In some cases, they're voluntary. Let me give you an example. If here, one of the goals is income generation, I would expect to see a commercial person somewhere in the organisational chart to deliver that goal. I would expect that. So what is the organisational chart that will deliver your plan, as well as the day-to-day runnings of the organisation? Radmilla, how important is it to have an organisational structure? You touched on it before, so I'm coming back to you. How important is it to have this? Because it's not needed. It's not needed. Or how important is it?
I think it's crucially important for a number of reasons. First, each person in the organization should know their role and their responsibility. The reporting mechanisms are also very important, but it's also, as you mentioned, the delivery of the programs and meeting various timelines within a budget. And again, even if you come to our organizations, as a comparison, we are the European body, how we, for example, cooperate with our colleagues at the HQ, this is extremely important, particularly because in most cases, the persons in charge, for example, at federation level, the board, the General Assembly, usually elects the board, so they're elected, and then they're responsible to appoint the people within the structure. And again, they have to have the right qualifications. This is why the roles and responsibilities must be absolutely clear and the reporting mechanisms for success.
Is that good governance to have that?
It's absolutely extremely important to have good governance, and of course, particularly when managing budgets, talking about who signs, who audits, etc. So that's crucially important.
Great. Thank you. So now we have looked at research, our goals and SMART objectives, the action plans under each SMART objective. We've just touched on the need for having budgets and an organisational chart. The last section, yay, is monitoring. This is without doubt the biggest area that people fall down on. Lack of implementation and monitoring. Please don't do it. Please. You have spent your time here. Can you imagine the 3 days that you have spent here and you do nothing? You've got a bit of knowledge, but you do nothing on the back of this. You've wasted your time to a certain extent. You've now got knowledge, you've got networks. Why not do something? Why not implement? And the way to do that is monitoring. And this is all about ensuring that you implement your objectives. Elvira? I've mentioned it before. How many times do you monitor your strategic plan?
Yes, last year we monitored 4 times per year.
And who does that?
First we did together, FIBA monitored together with us, but this year we started by ourselves. So we have office managers that we monitor, and then we report to the how we say, the commission oversight committee, yes. And in oversight committee is the president, vice president, and other board member, and I report to them for the strategic planning.
So your
monitoring, yes.
It could be your GM reporting to you as president and vice president. Where are you with these areas? So he's chasing the other objective owners. So everybody's chasing everybody to make sure it is implemented. How important has the monitoring been?
Unë mendoj që është shumë e rëndësishme monitorimi, edhe këto e kemi kuptuar vitin e parë të implementimit të planit strategjik, pra do të thotë vitin e kaluar. kur FIBA e ka monitoru dhe ka bo evaluimin e planit strategjik çdo 3 muaj. Në 3 mujorin e parë nuk e kemi kuptu se ka qenë hera e parë çka është tu bo success, po pastaj kemi fillu me kuptu shumë mirë edhe na vetë jemi përmdej kryetari unë edhe drejtori teknik edhe drejtori përfaqësuese në atë programiti, jemi ndi shumë ma mirë kur kemi raportu edhe për monitorimin e planit strategjik. Ndërsa këtë vetë është pak më ndryshe sepse përgjegjësia më e madhe është tek ne, menaxherët dhe drejtorët raportojnë tek sekretari i përgjithshëm, këtë rast tek unë për implementimin e planit strategjik edhe më pas unë raportoj tek komisioni për mbikëqyrjen e planit strategjik. Edhe në fund krejt ky komision raporton para bordit të Federatës. Bordi i Federatës raporton tek kuvendi për implementimin e planit strategjik, gjë që ka ndodhur edhe me 26 mars, kur e kemi mbajt kuvendin e punës, kur kryetari ka raportu edhe me prezentim për 12 mujorin e planit strategjik. Pra është një lloj hierarkie e monitorimit edhe implementimit planit strategjik.
This is best in class, and your country and your federation is doing that. This is best in class. Well done. So you review the goals and objectives, you do not review the tasks too much. But what you're doing is you're saying, how are we doing on the goals, but more importantly, the SMART objectives. And normally you could have 3 to 5 members. It could be the president, vice president, and someone external. Or it could be the president, vice president, and a board. Maybe the president is too busy, it's somebody else. You decide. But you want somebody that's driving, that will be relentless to ask for an update on the objectives. And I suggest you do it every 3 months. Not once a year, every 3 months. So, next steps. And this is us done, and I'm going to get my colleagues. So number 1, what we want you to do, we would love you to finalise. We would love you to finalise your goals and objectives. These sheets. We will be sending these to you electronically via the Federation next week. The Federation will email the clubs these templates. So type it in. 1 for youth development, 1 for governance and finance, and 1 for whatever your third goal is. But we want these completed now. When by? Everybody's busy. If I said, what's the first Friday in June? Anybody got the first? What's the date of the first Friday in June? Let me try it. Let me just see. The 3rd of June. No.
Third.
If I said 8 p.m. on the 3rd of June, is that achievable, or do you need more time? More time for you to fill in your document, meet internally as a board, finalise your objectives and send them to the Federation. Would you need more time, or could that be done by the 3rd of June? What do we think? Second Friday. It's the 10th? 10? Is 10 better? Is 10 better? Is 10th of June okay?
Because it's still playoff, so let's do a week later.
10th of June.
10.
Before they start to go in vacation. Exactly. Yes.
Okay, so what we've looked at is, let's say 8 p.m. local time, the 10th of June. And that will be your 3. If you want to create another goal, that's okay. But 3 or 4 goals, and that is to be sent, Elvira, is it the office email address?
Yes.
So, to the KBF office email. I think everybody has it? Yes? Yes. So we will send out the templates. By the 10th of June, you will send back to Elvira and the team your 3 or 4 completed documents. These completed. Governance and finance, the 3 we've already done. Youth development, we've already done 2. And your 3rd goal. If you want a 4th goal, no problem. So between now and June, meet your club and discuss, this is what we learned, this is what we had, what do you think? But meet as your board to fine tune it. Any questions on that? Because now you're leaving with something. Now you're leaving with something based on the knowledge, and now we're tasking you to implement. Now the last column is called RAG. RAG stands for red, amber, green. So when you get the monitoring from your objective owners, red, we are not going to hit the target. Amber, we're a little bit behind. Green, we're on schedule to hit it. And sometimes the traffic light situation is nice to see in a document. And you want to see lots of green and very few reds. So when you go to your objective owner every 3 months, you will ask them to color code red, amber, green, and put some terminology into the box, some words. So it might be organise 3 girls' summer camps by this date. Green, 3 camps organised, 100 girls in attendance. It might be achieve 50,000 of sponsorship. Red. Rather than 50, we achieve 10. So it's red. And you just put in the box 10,000 achieved due to COVID or financial impact in our city. So you put some terminology into the box. So red, amber, green, with 3 or 4 words, what has happened with that objective. Is that okay? What we would like you to do is to set up a strategic review committee. Somebody who's going to review your strategy in starting 3 months' time. 3 people. And what we would like to do then is get you to implement, to start. Once you send the plan to the Federation, that is day 1. Once you send the plan to the Federation, that is day 1. You now implement the objectives, you set up a strategic review, and you implement. So to keep it practical, let me just recap, and then I'm going to do something a little bit different. You all have these written. Governance and finance, youth development, and a 3rd goal. We want you to type them up. Governance and finance, youth development, and your 3rd goal. We've already discussed the objectives under governance and finance, and 2 objectives under youth development. We would expect those objectives in your plan, because it links to what the Federation are doing. Everybody got that? We would expect those 3 objectives in governance and finance in your plan because it links to what the Federation are doing. Does that make sense? And you update, send it to us by the 10th of June, then you start, create your strategic review committee. Questions? I know there's a lot in there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to ask Radmilla, remember, really experienced, to go in this corner. Radmilla, would you mind going in this corner here? Really? Can you go in this corner over here? Florian, can you go in this corner? And I will go in this corner. So you now have one-to-one people that you can have a talk with, and we will be here for 5-10 minutes. Use this time. And then we'll do a recap at the very end. So we will be doing a recap, just not yet. You're going to get 5 minutes to talk to us on a one-on-one, and then we will do a recap.
Jeff, just one question. Can I switch because this corner is more popular? This is where Luka Doncic was on my presentation. And most of the people went there. So I want more, as many people. So
They're going to say here, then Radmilla's on this side. Okay.
Strategic thinking.
So I want you all to get up. I want everybody to get up and go and talk to people. You have a couple of minutes, and then we will recap. Go and talk to these people of any thoughts. Away you go.
Ask questions.
Okay, hi. And then you can
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute.
I remember we had like a
Okay, everyone, can we take our seats? If we can take our seats.
Like a bit shy in the sense that they have like extra kilograms and she also want to quit basketball. They don't want to but they want to get back.
Great, thank you so much. Lunch is calling.
Thank you so much.
Lunch is calling. So thank you to my colleagues. I actually they didn't know about that last bit. So thank you for my colleagues for working with me. But sometimes you get more in a smaller group just chatting. So thank you for that, colleagues. So I'm going to bring Florian and Radmilla up here in a minute. So here's what we want you to do, just to remember. Finalise your goals and objectives. Set up that strategic review committee who will review the strategy every 3 months. And when you send the plan on the 10th of June, start implementing it. But between now and the 10th of June, meet with your club. Meet with the Vice President, the President, the GM, to discuss the objectives. Because they will have a different thought. It's always good when you see a slide that says, thank you. And I honestly mean that. You have been amazing to meet over the last weekend and the last 2 days and today. Absolutely amazing people. And I really appreciate it. The ball is in your court to implement, and only you can drive that forward. So I'm going to bring up Florian and Radmilla, who's going to close the activity, and a few other thoughts you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. So, I'm really sorry because I have another 10 slides to show you right now before we go to lunch. Is that okay with you, all of you? Yes? All good? Do you agree? Yes? Yes?
No.
Okay. Don't believe me. Of course not. I'm hungry as well. No, I just wanted to, and I with my colleague Radmilla, together we are super happy because we thought that, this experience was useful for you. We feel from the room and from the comments and the feedback from the previous workshop and from this one that it was a useful one. So we hope that you just take advantage of everything that was shared from day one to now, to then actually do what Jeff was highlighting. Plan, implement, and grow basketball at your club level, at the league level, at the national level. So that's very important, and I just would like to also thank you for your great questions, your engagement. I wanted to thank you also for your great hospitality, and especially Elvira and all the team from the Federation, because that was fantastic, just fantastic, and it's just a pleasure to always work with great people, and I feel that there is a fantastic ground here to actually deliver and grow basketball very much. So thank you for your attention, thank you for your engagement, thank you for everything you do for basketball, because we all love basketball, we all would like to see and grow basketball, and we are a family, and every family member has a responsibility to make the whole thing work, and your responsibility is immense to grow basketball in Kosovo all together. So, we are here for you. We'll always be reachable. If you have any questions after the workshop, please don't hesitate, we'll do that. And, I just once again, would like to thank you very much for everything. And I would like also Anila to say a few words.
Thank you, Florian. Clearly, so actually from my point, from the FIBA Europe perspective, I would like to also thank actually my colleagues, because looking at this program rolling up globally, we are also busy with so many things, and this workshop was organized as a follow-up of the strategic planning with the Federation, actually as almost like a suggestion by them, can we do something for the clubs? And the response, the reaction of my colleagues was fantastic in that. So I really appreciate that, because it's not always possible to adjust everybody's schedule and to prepare this. And we'll appreciate very much your feedback, and this, of course the federations, as well as to how to also move forward with this type of activities and what the clubs need in order to build better. Now, going back to, if you like, our environment, and when you start thinking about where you're going from here, and what you got from Jeff and all the experts, of course, in due course, during the sessions, but also 2 months ago, and what will happen in the future, you'll probably identify more needs, specific, depending on the level of the clubs. For example, the professional clubs may need more help in certain areas, others in others. So we are here to actually help and keep working with the Federation to develop not just events like this, but also additional training and even sharing, bringing people who have done it before at club level to actually share with you how they've done it, the road to success, etc. So there are certain activities that are coming up during the next 10-12 months here, including when you're starting with your training of technical specialists and coaches. We are planning also an event in a neighboring country here in October, which will focus specifically on another 14 talent development of this age group. So of course we'll communicate with the Federation to perhaps also involve more of your specialists, and many, many other things that of course will come into place. So again, talk to your federation, reach out to us, whatever your needs are, we're here to actually help and make sure that you reach the next level, because the potential is incredible and you have a great federation that can lead you on that. So thank you very much for being such a good sport.
And just to finish, I just would like to have a huge round of applause of our fantastic translator, because she was great. I will dream about your voice, all the time. You deserve a good night. And also just a special word, because that was the first workshop of a new team member we have in our team, Aurélie. So that was the first experience, good one, and she will have also many, so that was great that she was able to share a great experience with a great federation and a great team and great clubs and leagues. So thank you, enjoy the lunch, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.
We can leave our. You say.